Okay, let's dive into one of the most incredible business stories you've probably never heard. It involves a Brazilian cosmetics company, the Amazon rainforest, and, well, one of the most stunning investment returns in recent history. So our story kicks off with this number. Back in 2013, a company called Natura spent about $68 million to buy a majority stake in a luxury Australian brand called Aesop. It was a decent-sized deal, but nothing that really shook the business world at the time. And then it ends with this number. Just 10 years later, in 2023, Natura sold that very same brand for $2.58 billion. Yeah, that's a nearly 38x return on their investment. A single deal that completely flipped their entire financial situation on its head almost overnight. So that brings us to the big question, right? How on earth did they pull this off? Well, the answer isn't just some clever financial trick. It's actually a story rooted in 50 years of unconventional and honestly pretty counterintuitive decisions. To really get how this happened, we've got to rewind. I mean, all the way back to the very beginning, to the foundation of what made Natura so different from pretty much everyone else right from day one. Natura started out pretty humbly in 1969 with just $9,000 and a little shop in São Paulo. But pay close attention to that 1974 date. Just 4 years in, the founder, Luis Seabra, does something that seems totally nuts. He closes his store to bet everything on a direct sales model. And this is why that was such a genius move. In a huge country like Brazil, with its challenging infrastructure, running physical stores was expensive, and it really limited your reach. But the direct sales model, it completely sidestepped all that. It wiped out the overhead of a store, it created these amazing personal relationships with customers through consultants, and it let Natura get its products into every corner of the country. This became the company's superpower. So on top of that brilliant business model, Natura built another advantage, a competitive moat, you could say. And this one was literally rooted in the earth, something a huge global competitor couldn't just come in and copy, no matter how much money they threw at it. I mean, just look at this timeline. These guys were so far ahead of the curve, it's not even funny. Refillable packaging in 1983? That was decades before it was cool. They went fully carbon neutral by 2007 and became the world's first publicly traded B Corp. This wasn't just marketing fluff, This was baked into how they operated. And the heart of all this was their Ecos line, which they launched in 2000. Now, this was way more than just using natural ingredients. It was a whole new supply chain. They partnered directly with indigenous communities in the Amazon, shared profits with them, and paid them to help preserve the forest. The whole idea was simple: make a living forest more valuable than a dead one. And the impact? It's just staggering. Through this business model, Natura has helped conserve 2.2 million hectares of the Amazon. To give you some perspective, that's an area larger than the state of New Jersey, all protected not by charity, but by a sustainable, for-profit business. So Natura is crushing it in Brazil. They're the dominant player. What's next? The world, of course. But this next phase, a period of really aggressive global expansion, turned out to be a massive, high-stakes gamble to go from a regional hero to a global powerhouse. In less than 10 years, Natura went on an absolute shopping spree. It started with Aesop in 2013, then they grabbed the body shop from L'Oreal in 2017, and the grand finale was buying their giant rival Avon in 2020. And just like that, boom, Natura was suddenly the fourth largest pure-play beauty company on the entire planet. But here's the thing about building a global empire. It's incredibly messy. Trying to integrate 4 massive, totally different brands across different continents and cultures created a huge amount of strain. By 2022, that dream was really starting to look like a nightmare. The company posted a net loss of nearly 3 billion reais, and its debt was just spiraling. And this is where the story takes its most dramatic turn. What happened next wasn't a failure at all. In fact, it was a masterclass in strategic discipline, a really courageous retreat back to the company's core strengths. The company started to unwind its empire with just breathtaking speed. First to go was Aesop for that incredible price. Then the body shop was sold, and finally, the international part of Avon was sold off, leaving Natura with the powerful Avon brand only on its home turf of Latin America. And the result of all this? As you can see, it was absolutely transformational. That Aesop sale wasn't just profitable, it was a complete reset button for the company's finances. In a single year, Natura went from being heavily in debt to sitting on a net cash position of 1.7 billion reais. So where does all this leave Natura today? It's a leaner, stronger, Latin American-focused powerhouse. It's gone back to its roots, and now it's integrating its own massive network with Avon's in the region it knows best, basically aiming for total dominance in its home market. When you step back and look at the whole story, I think Natura teaches us a really powerful lesson. A true competitive advantage isn't a single brilliant idea you have one time. It's the ability to reinvent that advantage again and again, to adapt to whatever challenges a new era throws at you.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Natura built its entire brand on being authentically sustainable. But in today's world, where every company claims to be green, what actually makes that claim believable? And who is it really for? The person buying the shampoo or the institution buying the stock?